What's going on, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Content Clubhouse podcast presented by The First Call. I'm your host, Nathan Moore, and in this episode, we've got an awesome conversation with EJ Hill. We dive into his background as a high-level collegiate golfer in his home state of Tennessee and how golf content creation started paying his bills way before his finance degree ever did. Obviously, he's not using that degree very much at this point and hopes to continue to not use it, but that plus how his sponsorships and his professional relationships with content managers and everyone else have enabled him to pursue this as a full-time job, and just how much of a full-time job this is. Talks about 40 plus hours a week alone on editing some of his videos. So that's the price it pays to be a golf content creator, I guess. But for all that and more, here's our conversation with EJ. Welcome back to another episode of the Content Clubhouse podcast presented by The First Call, where I'm thrilled to be joined today by EJ Hill, a guy whose life is going really awesome right about now. If you haven't been following him on Instagram, just got married. Congratulations on that, by the way. We'll definitely want to hear about how that's going. But coming back from getting married, go on a honeymoon. I think you just shot a career low as well on the golf course. So things are coming up good for EJ Hill, man. So thanks so much for taking some time to come on with us.
Absolutely. It's great to be here.
Yeah, man. So I want to start with kind of how you got started, not only in golf, but in golf content creation. So you played collegiately in your home state of Tennessee, and you actually started posting golf videos while you were on the golf team at Freed-Hardeman University, if I'm pronouncing that right. What made you want to start posting your golf game on social media, and how did that work or fit in with your very serious on-course responsibilities as a member of the men's golf team there?
It's crazy how it all came together. I've played golf my entire life, grew up going out to the golf course with my dad and granddad. I took it somewhat seriously. I played travel baseball growing up, and that kind of led me into deciding which one to do. Was it going to be golf or baseball? I was decent at both. I wasn't really great at one or great at the other. I was just decent at both. So I figured it was going to be better to pick golf because at the time, you didn't have to be as good to get a golf scholarship. So that's what ended up happening. Ended up playing NAIA golf at Freed, got a scholarship there. So went and did my 4 years. And during that time, I was on social media looking and seeing all the golf content. And I just decided, why not me, and decided to make my own videos. And I took a photography class in college just to get elective hours, and that got me into buying a camera. And I was gonna end up doing like real estate photography videos, that sort of thing. So I bought a nice camera, a Nikon Z6, to do that. That was gonna be my business. And then I did it for a little bit, had some success with it, and then I was still filming the videos just with my phone, every now and then, just uploading one, almost like playing the lottery, seeing what did good. And I was like, why not use this camera to film the golf content? Because a lot of people weren't doing it. You had the big guys doing it, filming with a nice camera, but you didn't have just your everyday golfer. They were filming with their phone. So I thought that would have been a way to separate myself from everybody else. So took the camera out, filmed 9 holes, and the video, I edited very nice tracers on it, and the video did so well, blew my mind, and it just kind of took off from there. Every video since has been filmed with that camera and sort of this same style, and it's just snowballed over time. So it's just crazy. If you would have told little EJ, who was traveling playing Little League baseball, that he was going to grow up and be a golf content creator and people were going to watch him play golf, his mind would have been absolutely blown.
Yeah, that's really cool. So you talk about kind of the plans that you had in college versus kind of what you're doing now. So looking at, doing some research on you, looking at your LinkedIn and some other stuff, it looks like, you graduated very recently with a degree in finance, but it obviously doesn't seem like you're working in finance. Is golf content creation, is that now your full-time gig? Are you still doing any of that photography side of things, or any using, I guess, what you studied at school at all, or is it all about the golf these days?
I'm not using anything I studied in school but a tax class. I took a tax one. I don't think I took tax two because it was just so difficult. But that first tax class taught me how to do my own personal tax return. And that has been the biggest blessing to me because I can do all of my own finances. I'm a one-man band now. Because of that, I feel like I can handle my full financial side of my business. I treat this as a business. I can handle the full financial side of that because of that one class I took in college. So I'm not using that finance degree other than that. and I handle all of my own personal investments, so that also helped. But that degree I'm not using too much right now, and I hope I don't have to, but it's there just in case.
I hear you. So, as I mentioned off the top, you just got married. Again, congratulations on that. As a recently married man myself back in December, I know just how awesome, but also how stressful the engagement and wedding season is. So, again, congrats on that. But I got to ask, how did that conversation with the now father-in-law go, where you're like, hey, I want to marry your daughter, and I'm going to support the family by doing golf content creation? I mean, it's working, but I'm just curious, how did that go?
It was honestly not hard at all. He knows I'm a very ambitious person. He knows that I'm gonna take care of her no matter what I have to do. But it was just the finances were kind of proving that I could do it at this time, and I'm smart enough to know that if the finances aren't there, that I'm going to have to do something else, and then this would just be my side hustle. But it's paying the bills, and as long as it pays the bills, that's kind of what he saw. But it was really funny because whenever I asked him if I could marry Riley, he was asleep on the couch, and I didn't want to wake him up, but it was the perfect time. We were about to go take a beach trip. I wanted to do it at a golf course down there. We always take a family beach trip with them at the first of the year, right after Christmas, and then right into the new year at that time. And me and Riley always go play golf, so it was just going to be a perfect time to do it. I did it on the golf course. So right before we were about to leave for that trip, he was taking a nap, so I, tapped him on the shoulder and showed him the ring and said, I want to marry Riley, I absolutely love her, and they were just over the moon excited, so it's been great. It couldn't have been any better.
That's awesome. And talking about Riley, you see her, she's pretty prevalent in your content. You clearly play a lot of golf with her. It seems like that's something that the two of you enjoy doing together. Talking to some other creators on a few of these episodes, especially the bigger ones and folks like you who have reached a certain following, and you talk about the business side of it. Really, when they play golf, it becomes work. I mean, they still enjoy doing it, right? But when it is your livelihood, when there are these responsibilities tied to it, very rarely do some of these people actually just get out and play golf to have fun. How has that process been for you? And is playing with your wife kind of a way that you still just fully immerse yourself in the joy of the game?
Well, I've been playing golf for so long that in my first 2 years of college, I almost fell out of love with the game. I wasn't playing well. I just wasn't getting any better. I wasn't seeing any progress. My tournament scores weren't the best, so I kind of fell out in love with the game. But we took a trip down to the beach, or we took a trip down to the river, and ended up playing one of the RTJ courses, Fighting Joe, me and Riley. And we went out and played 9 holes at sunset, and I fell back in love with the game then. Which that was the end of sophomore year going into junior year, around the time I started posting the content, because she was taking videos of me there. But yeah, it's hard because it is my job now, and I treat it like a job. I mean, she was helping me out with the videos for a while. That's why she was in so many, is because she was there behind the camera, setting down the tripod and that sort of thing, getting the camera set up while I was getting my shot set up, and that helped out a lot. So that's why she was in a lot of the videos. She hasn't really been in too many recently, but that's why she was just there. I mean, she was there. It was, we were always brainstorming video ideas, and then that led into the I Play She Putts. We've done a bunch of those. But she doesn't help out as much anymore. She's, taking care of stuff at home, and I don't really feel like, I don't really need her unless we are doing that sort of video. But it's tough. We don't get to go out too much without the camera, just because it almost feels like, man, I could be making a video right now that, could get me through another day of posting. I try to post every day, so it's tough, but we try to go out as much as we can. I know here soon we're going to be taking out, we've got a 7-month-old golden retriever, so we're going to be taking him out for his first time on the golf course here pretty soon. So we're excited about that.
Yeah, that'll make for a fun video. Got to see how the dog does on the golf course. But talking about this type of content that you do post, right? Going back and looking at how, when you first got started posting on Instagram, you were kind of doing, like you mentioned, I think off the top, like trying a lot of stuff, throwing it at the wall, seeing what sticks, what works, and what doesn't. But truly, like almost every successful creator has told me, or the people that I've talked to, basically, like, you just got started. But along that process, while you were trying to find your voice and what works for you, how did you figure that out? Was there a moment that clicked that was like, yeah, this is the type of content that I can be successful with?
I guess the moment was whenever the first 9 holes in 90 seconds went viral, because I'm not a very outgoing person. I'm not very outspoken. I'm not very funny. So, I didn't talk much. It was 9 holes in 90 seconds, bam, bam, I'm hitting shots after shots, and then whatever came out naturally as I'm playing, maybe include some of that. But just very fast pace, bam, 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 and the tracers look good. I guess around that time is when I was like, I can do this, for as long as I can. Obviously, I figured out that, kind of the more I talked, the better the videos kind of did. I just really found that out here recently when I was when I shot my best round. The front 9 was just another 9 holes in 90 seconds. And then I shot 3 under, and I was like, well, shoot, I've got to play. My best is 68. So I was like, 1 or 2 more birdies, and, we're breaking my personal best. So, and then I started talking more on that back 9 to the camera. It kept me calm. I don't know, because I was playing by myself, I don't know, it just kept me calm, and that's really how I was able to shoot that round, because I'm a very quick golfer. I'll get up to the ball, hit it, go and hit it again. I'm not one to think about my shots too much, but when I was talking through it with the camera, I think that helped slow me down and let me shoot the 67 that I shot. So,
yeah, you bring up a really interesting point about how the creative process can kind of work, right? So you went out to the course that day to shoot a 9-hole video and find yourself, in contention to do something really cool. So you adjusted what you were doing. How much of your content, I guess, is pre-planned versus reactionary to something that happened to happen on the course?
I would really, 70-30, 70% is, okay, this is what I want to do, and I'll go do it. I do that with a lot of the song videos. The song videos are just, I know what song that I need to be playing, and then I'll play, 4 to 5 holes, and that's the song video. Or, it could be the establishing my handicap videos where, I'm going out playing a full 18 holes. Sometimes I'll split them up into 2 videos, and then here recently I've just been doing a full 18 holes, and it sounds like a machine gun's going off. The video's going so fast, but yeah, it's a lot of it is planned, but then you'll have a shot that hits a tree, so you have to include that in, or maybe you can turn that into another separate video somehow. But I would say 70% of it is just completely planned before I get to the golf course.
Gotcha. Well, again, with your content, you've really found this niche of, filming yourself play golf. Like, you don't do a ton of other kind of gimmicky things. Not that there's anything wrong with those, with people that are kind of doing more comedy or whatever on the golf course, but yours is pretty much like, watch me play some very good golf, if I might add, by the way. As a guy who's like an 11 handicap, I would kill for a lot of the rounds that you're putting on Instagram. But was there, I guess I'm trying to find the right way to phrase this, like, in a space, in the golf content space, where so many other people are doing those different things, do you ever feel that pressure to, you say yourself that you're not funny, I don't know if that's true or not, but do you ever feel pressure to do anything more than what you found this lane in?
Yes, I'm always trying to think of the next big thing, because I feel like, there was people who posted 9 holes in 90 seconds before I did, but no one can make a 9 holes in 90 seconds like I do. I just feel like mine are so aesthetic, high quality, fast pace, perfect tracers. I can't figure out a way to really make them better, but I've seen from other creators, now they're mimicking me or messaging me about how to make their content better. So I feel like I'm almost setting the bar of kind of, this is the best 9 holes in 90 seconds you can make, and then people may try to mimic that or something like that. But I'm just always trying to think of the next big thing, to be original and different, because everybody wants to be a golf content creator nowadays. I have people come up to me all the time and ask me how I did it. And, I always tell people the same thing. You've got to post every day first, but you've also got to find a way to make yourself different than the other million golf content creators out there. And the way I looked at it was, you either had to be super attractive, you either had to be hilarious, you had to have really good content, or like really good high quality content, and that's what I went with, because I'm not the prettiest, I'm not the funniest, but I can make some high quality content. So that's what I chose to go with, and I was one of the first ones to do that, which is why I kind of grew my following to what it is now. It's just been a crazy ride.
For sure. So you talk about the business side and how you treat it like a business. At what point, I guess, did it become that? At what point did it start paying bills, and what was that transition like?
It started paying the bills pretty much right after college. I partnered with 2 great companies, Holderness and Bourne and Sun Mountain, straight out of college. And they were paying me a monthly retainer fee, and that's when I was like, well, I'm making more now than I would be going and working some entry-level finance job. So why not give this a shot at just a full-time committing to it, and it turned out to work. I don't know. It was just crazy. Having those initial partnerships helped helped financially to get to, where I am today. And kind of they paid the bills for sure.
Yeah, and take us a little bit inside kind of how those partnerships come to be. So we obviously got, well, I say obviously to the two of us, but anybody listening would not know that. But we got introduced through Noah Schwartz, a content creator manager who I've worked with professionally. Obviously, you do as well. Did you get these partnerships prior to kind of working with Noah? And I guess when did you reach a point where you're like, I'm handling this well by myself, but I could use some professional help, I guess.
Right. I got those partnerships on my own to begin with, but then I was going through my spam emails one day, and I saw an email from this guy who wanted to be my manager. And I was like, I don't need a manager. I'm not big enough to need a manager. I can handle all of this myself. But I wanted to see what he had in mind, so I emailed him back. He might have sent me another email, I'm not sure. But I emailed him back, and it was Noah. Noah basically told me that, hey, you're doing well. I wanted to see, if you needed some type of management to gain more partnerships and that sort of thing. And I don't know. I don't know what I know is just a good salesman is what it is. But I just said yes and signed up with them, and that he is the only reason I'm still making content today is because he's got me partnerships that have helped pay the bills along the way, and I wouldn't have been able to do it without him. So I am forever grateful to Noah. He has been a fantastic manager. It's just been an awesome partnership.
Gotcha. And are the main ways that he, I guess, helps, is that kind of through the partnership side? Is he, coming to you with, hey, what do you think about this company or that company? Could they be a fit? Or I guess just walk us through what some of your relationship conversations with him are like.
Yeah, he'll basically reach out and say, I've got this opportunity if you want it. And then I'll kind of make the final call of if we're going to do it or not. But 9 times out of 10, like he got me a partnership with Stitch. They've been the most amazing partner. Absolutely love them, everything about them. They have me dressed from head to my ankles, basically. No, not shoes, but my head to my ankles, and then my golf bag and all my travel gears from them. And then the Grant as well. They have an app where it'll hook up to the Gen app. You can keep your scores, and it's got a GPS on there. They've been great partners as well. But those were both through Noah. Partnerships I would have never got otherwise. What was the question?
No, I mean that just basically just kind of what your conversations with him are like. But that
Oh
answers
yeah.
it pretty well.
Right, yeah, we'll just go back and forth. He'll send me an opportunity, and then I'll have a yes or a no for him. But that's basically it.
Yeah, and how did those first two with H&B and I forget the other one that you mentioned, but did they just like DM you on Instagram or like, hey, we like your content, let's work together? How did that work?
Right, it was almost like a can we send you some stuff to try out, and then that formed into a partnership of making monthly ads every month. Um, Yeah, so that's basically how it turned out. They DM me, and then wanted to do just almost a gift, a PR package sort of thing, and then it snowballed into a partnership.
Gotcha. Well, they obviously, these brands that you're connecting with are obviously big fans of your content, and you're kind of choosing which ones, I guess, that align with who you are and the type of content that you're, producing. And one of my favorite things about your content is it's just overwhelmingly you, a kid from small town Tennessee who likes to play golf, fish, not scared to talk about your faith, which I also really love, as a believer myself. So but it's not easy, right? Putting yourself out there. There's a lot of people on the internet who are going to be turned off by some of these things, potential brands that might be turned off by some of these things. And it's a place where your homegrown experience isn't necessarily always celebrated. So what's been the response, from your audience, from your partners, and why do you think your content resonates with hundreds of thousands of people who, most of whom probably had a very different, life experience than you?
I think we're just in that age of where golf is just ballooning. Ever since COVID, more and more people have been getting into it, and that's another reason why I can do what I can do. There's more people interested in golf. People's figured out that golf was pretty cool, and now it is, everybody wants to play golf. So it's just crazy how that's come over time, and it's been, I feel like I've been perceived pretty well. I don't believe I have too many haters. I mean, there's a few who, think I redo shots or, that sort of thing, but I'll just tell them, it really doesn't matter how I play in the videos. That's really not what I'm trying to sell you. I'm trying to sell you the, almost like it's TikTok premium or, Instagram premium, where it's just the quality is so good it's kind of hard not to watch. So that's what I'm trying to sell them. But I've recently found out that if I play better, the videos will do better. So I'm trying to practice as much as I can, but it's just it's difficult whenever I'm trying to balance. The video will take, if I do a 9-hole videos, that's 2 hours of filming, and then I'm coming back home to where I'm, editing for 4 to 5 hours, trying to get that final draft done to post the next day. So, I mean, it really is a full-time job. There's been countless nights of me sitting in front of the computer that, struggling, praying I get the video done in time for the next day, because my goal is just one post every day. Sometimes I'll skip out on the weekends, but yeah, just one post every day is what I try to do. But a lot of people don't realize I'll have a bunch of comments, saying, what shot tracer app do I use? What scorecard app do I use? And it's really just not a simple answer. I feel like I've become a professional editor over the years of editing these videos. I do them all in Premiere Pro and do all the tracers myself in After Effects, which takes a while, because I'm sitting there pretty much going frame by frame of the videos to track these golf balls that you're only going to see for a half a second before it's on to the next shot where I'm tracing it as well. So it takes so much time, and I don't think a lot of people understand the effort that I put into these videos and how hard I've worked to get here. They kind of, I guess to them it kind of happened overnight, but to me, I've learned so much over the years of doing it, and I've developed a process that, really only I know. The only person who comes in this room is my wife, a lot of the times. So it's just crazy that, I don't know, a lot of people just think that this is something that's easy. EJ just gets to play golf for a living, and how cool is that? And that is amazing. I'm not complaining about it, but the other demon is the editing part of it and how much time I spend doing that. 40 hours a week, definitely sitting in front of the computer just editing, and that's not even counting the golf. So it's a tough job at times, but I would not trade it for anything in the world.
Man, that's awesome to hear. And yeah, as somebody who comes kind of a little bit from a video editing background too, like, people really, the post-production is like just such a beast. And that's why, like, so many of these huge, creators who have like are making more money than we know what to do with. They hire people to do that kind of thing because it is that much work and takes that much time. Well, before I get you out of here, I want to just give you a chance to tell us like what's next. What's something you got coming up that you're excited about that people can be on the lookout for? Playing any cool places this summer? Just tell us all about it before I let you go.
So I'm going back to Tobacco Road in September. They asked me to do some videos for them. So I'm going to be going back there, and that place is just a dream. Oh my goodness. Me and Riley, we did a I play sheep huts type video there, and then we went fishing on the cabin beside the 14th green. And I probably caught 15 to 20 fish. And then it was getting late at night, and I see this massive thing moving through the water. I thought it was a turtle, and I was like, no, that is the biggest largemouth bass I have ever seen. And I threw a wacky rig in there, and I mean, he just swallowed it. And I told Riley to watch out because she was standing right next to me, and I set the hook, and I caught that fish, and I mean that's a core memory for us both. And I mean it's videoed now. We can watch it for the rest of our lives. But that's a trip that I'm really looking forward to. Really, I'm trying to just grow my YouTube channel. I've got a few videos out there that just aren't very good. So I'm trying to figure out, that's my next step of, posting more of that long form content out there for people to watch, but to make it as good as I can because the ones I've made so far aren't very good. So I'm still learning that process of the YouTube space, but I think that's my next step in order to take this to the next level and grow and maybe, get into some of those creator tournaments. I'm not big enough for that yet, but we're still snowballing and still growing. So one day, if I grow that YouTube space, I mean that's the path to make this where I can get an editor, and that sort of thing. So that's my goal, and to give me some more free time is to try to grow that. So that's what I'm going to commit to for then until it gets done. So that's the plans.
Well, good deal. Definitely rooting for you. Looking forward to seeing that content from Tobacco Road. Maybe there's another big fish in the pond we can get on the Instagram and on YouTube.
I hope so.
People can check you out at EJ Hill Golf, like you said, on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. Again, thanks so much, brother, for coming on. Good talking to you, and good luck.
Absolutely. Good talking to you, man.